It is so much more expensive to be poor than it is to have good housing, good health care.
What we really mean by bold is ideas that fundamentally change the power structures of our economy. You got to change all of that to count as bold.
My definition of bold in this context is that we have to rewrite the rules in a way that we are supporting working middle-class families in America, because we're not. The rules over a period of time have been written to the exclusion of working middle-class families.
If we do this right, the combustible nature of bringing together all these different stakeholders around finding solutions to democracy and inequality, we can create something special here.
One way to say it is that we've given our government over to markets, and we've given markets over to corporations. If corporations and private interests are in charge, then we're not.
In fact, Americans are demanding bold solutions, and I want to see policymakers follow along. And that means think tanks and journalists and union organizers and groups who work with communities all have to come together.
It's not just bringing all these people together, but we also need to tell a story that explains for people how and where growth comes from, as well as prosperity today.
Because if you don't see someone, you can't help them. And so we built infrastructure that intentionally centered these communities and said, not only do we see you, but we're investing in you.
We're just reflective of the fact people are engaging already in this conversation. We're talking about, and especially in the communities that we work with, communities of color, low-income communities, this conversation is happening, it's been happening. There are so many bold solutions that are bubbling up from the ground up.
I truly believe that the only way we'll see change in this country is by listening to not only stories like mine, but ones from people who have experienced systemic poverty, systemic racism. If we can somehow start to remove shame from struggle, we'll start to see how many of us are fighting in our own way.
And so today is about asking policymakers, how will you respond to the call for boldness that we hear coming from every corner of this country?
What's particularly interesting about California is not just the policies, but who are leading these policies. I think there's a special urgency and audacity and a boldness when it comes from a lived experience. And so if anything, I think California offers a blueprint in making sure the democratic systems are truly democratic.
Where we need to go from here is kind of weaving together of those policies into a story is descriptive, and that it helps people make sense of the world around them.
No big change in any society in the world has ever been made by thinking about a small idea to move us forward. And that is the opportunity that we have.